Why you should practice speaking. Leo always dreamed of global adventures, but his English skills felt like an insurmountable wall. He knew English was the key to unlocking new cultures and opportunities, yet the very thought of speaking it sent shivers down his spine. He wondered, why should I practice speaking? Is it truly that important for my future? This question constantly lingered. He felt stuck, observing others effortlessly converse in English, while he struggled with even basic greetings. Leo understood the world was shrinking, and English proficiency was no longer a luxury but a fundamental necessity for everyone. He yearned for a breakthrough, a clear path to fluency, but confusion clouded his mind. One day, an old professor shared a profound truth. Why you must read English, young man, is because it builds your foundation. This simple advice resonated deeply with Leo. He realized that before he could truly speak, he needed to immerse himself in the language's structure and vocabulary, absorbing its very essence. So, Leo began his reading journey. He started with simple articles, then gradually moved to short stories and news reports. Each word he encountered, each sentence he deciphered, slowly expanded his understanding. He discovered that reading wasn't just about comprehension, it was about building a robust internal dictionary. He soon understood why reading is so important. It exposes you to diverse sentence structures and authentic expressions. This passive learning proved incredibly powerful. It provided context for words he'd only seen in dictionaries and developed an intuitive feel for grammar. His mind became a sponge, soaking up knowledge effortlessly. The more he read, the more his confidence grew. He noticed new words appearing in his thoughts, ready for use. Yet, the leap from reading to active speaking still felt intimidating. He knew reading was vital, but the actual act of speaking English out loud seemed like a monumental challenge he had to overcome. Leo decided to tackle his fear head-on. He remembered the professor's second piece of advice: English talking practice is non-negotiable for fluency. This meant moving beyond the comfort of silent reading and engaging his voice. He understood that real progress happened when he dared to make mistakes and learn from them directly. He started small, whispering English phrases to himself while walking. This seemingly simple step was his initial foray into start talking at home. He practiced introductions, describing his day, and even narrating his mundane activities. It felt silly at first, but it built muscle memory for his tongue and brain. This solo practice was crucial because it removed the pressure of an audience. He could stumble, rephrase, and experiment without judgment. Start talking at home became his safe laboratory for linguistic exploration. It was a foundational step, preparing him for the next stage of his English learning journey effectively. Next, he sought opportunities for how to talk to people in pairs. He found a language exchange partner online, a friendly student named Maya, who also wanted to improve her English speaking skills. They scheduled regular video calls, starting with simple conversations and gradually increasing complexity. Their first few sessions were awkward, filled with pauses and hesitant sentences. But they persevered. Maya understood his struggles, and he understood hers. They encouraged each other, correcting mistakes gently and celebrating small victories. This paired practice proved incredibly effective for building conversational fluency quickly. How to talk to people in pairs offered immediate feedback and real-time interaction that reading alone could not provide. It forced Leo to think on his feet, formulate responses quickly, and use the vocabulary he had acquired. These conversations breathed life into the words he had previously only read silently. Leo also adopted a structured English study plan for talking. This wasn't a rigid timetable but a flexible framework. He allocated specific times each day for reading, listening, and crucially, speaking practice. He integrated these activities seamlessly into his daily routine, making learning a habit. His English study plan for talking included dedicated slots for vocabulary review, listening to podcasts, and then immediately attempting to summarize what he heard. This holistic approach ensured that all aspects of language acquisition were addressed. It transformed his vague aspirations into concrete, actionable steps daily. He combined his reading with listening, often reading aloud what he listened to, mimicking accents and intonations. This active engagement deepened his understanding and improved his pronunciation simultaneously. He realized that a well-rounded approach was essential for achieving genuine fluency in speaking English. The professor had always emphasized that the best way to learn English wasn't a single magical trick but a consistent, multifaceted effort. It involved immersing oneself in the language through various mediums. Leo was now experiencing the truth of this statement firsthand, seeing significant improvement. Leo meticulously reviewed his speaking sessions, noting common errors and areas for improvement. He kept a journal of new phrases and idiomatic expressions he encountered. This reflective practice accelerated his learning curve, making each mistake a valuable lesson instead of a deterrent to his progress. He discovered that true progress in how to practice English wasn't about perfection from day one, but about consistent, incremental effort. It was about showing up daily, even when feeling unmotivated, and putting in the work. Every small step accumulated into significant strides over time. His confidence soared. The fear of making mistakes diminished, replaced by a growing excitement to communicate. He actively sought out opportunities to speak, joining online forums and virtual discussion groups. His English speaking skills were now blossoming, much to his delight and surprise. Leo realized that learn English was an ongoing journey, not a destination. There was always more to discover, new nuances to grasp. But the initial hurdle of speaking had been overcome, thanks to his persistent efforts and strategic practice methods. He felt empowered and truly accomplished. He remembered the initial question, why you should practice speaking. Now, the answer was crystal clear. Speaking activated his knowledge, cemented new vocabulary, and allowed him to express his thoughts freely. It transformed passive understanding into active communication, truly bringing the language alive. The benefits extended beyond mere communication. Practicing speaking built his confidence not just in English but in other areas of his life. He became more articulate, more persuasive, and less afraid to voice his opinions. It was a holistic personal development experience for him. His consistent reading had provided the rich soil for his speaking skills to flourish. He had an extensive vocabulary and a natural grasp of grammar because he had seen and internalized countless examples. This fusion of input and output was proving incredibly powerful for him. Leo often advised newcomers, "Why you must read English, profoundly changes your linguistic intuition. He explained that reading trains your brain to recognize patterns, predict structures, and absorb the rhythm of the language. It builds an inner sense of correctness before you even articulate it yourself. He emphasized that English talking practice wasn't about flawless grammar from the start. It was about getting comfortable with the sounds, the flow, and the act of forming sentences, however imperfectly. Fluency comes from consistent attempts, not from waiting for perfection to magically appear. For those hesitant, he recommended, start talking at home, even to inanimate objects or pets. The goal was to break the silence barrier and get used to hearing your own voice speaking English. This initial step, seemingly small, held immense power in overcoming speaking anxiety effectively. He also championed how to talk to people in pairs, highlighting the unique benefits of interactive feedback. A supportive partner could correct pronunciation, suggest better phrasing, and provide the crucial back and forth that mimics real-life conversations. This dynamic learning environment was irreplaceable for him. Leo shared his English study plan for talking with others, advocating for a balanced approach. He stressed the importance of not just grammar drills, but also engaging with authentic materials and actively using the language in diverse contexts. It was about integration, not isolation, of skills. His journey demonstrated that the best way to learn English was highly personalized but always involved these core principles: consistent input through reading and listening, and consistent output through speaking and writing. It was a continuous cycle of learning, practicing, and refining for better results. He became a testament to how to practice English could transform a hesitant learner into a confident communicator. His story inspired many, showing them that fluency was achievable with dedication and the right strategies. He was now living proof of effective language acquisition. Leo's adventures had truly begun, all thanks to his newfound English fluency. He traveled extensively, connecting with people from various backgrounds, unhindered by language barriers. His initial dreams were now his everyday reality, proving the transformative power of dedication. He never stopped reinforcing the importance of why you should practice speaking. He knew that active use solidifies knowledge, makes new vocabulary stick, and ultimately bridges the gap between understanding and true communication. Speaking truly unlocked his potential. Even now, years later, Leo continued to read English daily. He found immense joy in English literature, news, and academic papers. Reading remained his quiet anchor, constantly enriching his vocabulary and refining his grasp of complex structures naturally and effortlessly. He often reflected on his initial hesitations with English talking practice. He remembered the intense fear of sounding silly or making mistakes. Now, those fears seemed distant, replaced by a genuine enthusiasm for every conversational opportunity that arose, no matter how challenging. Leo frequently mentored new learners, guiding them on how to talk to people in pairs. He encouraged them to find supportive partners, emphasizing patience and mutual encouragement. He knew that a comfortable environment was crucial for overcoming initial speaking anxiety successfully. He explained that why reading is so important goes beyond just vocabulary. It immerses you in the culture, humor, and subtle nuances of the language, things difficult to grasp from grammar books alone. Reading provided the deep contextual understanding necessary for fluent speech. Leo confidently asserted that the best way to learn English was holistic and consistent. It wasn't about quick fixes but about building daily habits that cumulatively led to mastery. Every small reading session, every brief conversation, contributed significantly to his progress. He helped his mentor create their own English study plan for talking, tailored to their individual needs and schedules. He showed them how to integrate listening, reading, and speaking into their daily lives seamlessly, making the learning process enjoyable and sustainable over time. Leo's transformation from a hesitant learner to a confident speaker was a vivid example of Learn English in action. He showed that determination, combined with effective strategies, could yield extraordinary results. His journey was a beacon of hope for aspiring English learners globally. He often told his story about how to practice English, from the awkward beginnings of speaking to himself, to engaging in lively debates. Each step, no matter how small, was essential in building the confidence and fluency required for real-world communication effectively. The initial bravery to start talking at home truly paved the way for all subsequent progress. It built the initial comfort level with his own voice speaking English, a crucial psychological hurdle. This seemingly minor step was, in retrospect, the most foundational for him. Leo's journey was a powerful reminder that while resources are plentiful, personal initiative is paramount. No app or book could replace the active engagement required for true fluency. It was his dedication to consistent practice that truly made the difference. He stressed that setbacks are part of the process. There would be days of frustration, where words wouldn't come easily. But he learned to view these as temporary obstacles, not permanent failures, pushing through with resilience and renewed determination every single time. His advice resonated deeply with struggling learners. Embrace mistakes, they are your best teachers. Each mispronounced word or grammatical error was an opportunity to learn and refine. This mindset shift transformed his approach to English talking practice entirely. Leo never ceased to emphasize why you must read English, especially for acquiring a sophisticated vocabulary and understanding cultural nuances. Reading provided the depth and breadth of knowledge that listening alone could not fully impart, enriching his language skills significantly. He often described how to talk to people in pairs fostered a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose. It made the learning process less daunting and more enjoyable, as they navigated the complexities of a new language together, supporting each other always. Leo's story was a living embodiment of the comprehensive approach needed for the best way to learn English. It combined structured learning with organic immersion, showing that both elements were indispensable for achieving genuine fluency and confidence in the long run. He demonstrated that an English study plan for talking wasn't a strict curriculum, but a dynamic guide. It adapted as his needs changed, allowing flexibility while maintaining focus on his ultimate goal, becoming a fluent and confident English speaker in any situation. Through his experiences, Leo proved that anyone could learn English effectively, regardless of their starting point. The key was a combination of persistence, smart strategies, and a genuine desire to communicate. His success was a beacon of hope for learners worldwide. Leo's journey underscored how to practice English consistently and strategically. From silent reading to lively conversations, every effort built upon the last, culminating in remarkable fluency. He was a living example of what consistent effort can achieve over time. He fondly remembered the initial moments of start talking at home, feeling foolish yet determined. That vulnerability was the genesis of his linguistic transformation. It proved that taking action, even small, uncomfortable steps, was vital for significant progress and growth. Leo's message was clear: don't wait for perfection. Why you should practice speaking today is to accelerate your progress and build confidence immediately. The more you speak, the more natural it becomes, fostering rapid improvement in conversational abilities. His unwavering belief in why you must read English stemmed from seeing its direct impact on his vocabulary and comprehension. Reading laid the groundwork, providing the necessary input that fueled his output, making his spoken English richer and more articulate effortlessly. Leo's story resonated with countless individuals, urging them to embrace English talking practice with enthusiasm, not fear. He demonstrated that fluency wasn't about innate talent, but about consistent, deliberate effort and a willingness to step outside one's comfort zone daily. He emphasized the collaborative aspect of how to talk to people in pairs, transforming a solitary endeavor into a shared adventure. This social interaction component significantly boosted his motivation and provided invaluable, immediate feedback for continuous improvement. For Leo, why reading is so important transcended mere language learning. It opened doors to new perspectives and understanding of the world. It was a pathway to critical thinking and cultural empathy, enriching his life far beyond linguistic gains. He remained a firm advocate that the best way to learn English was a personalized blend of immersion, structured practice, and brave communication attempts. There was no single magic bullet, but rather a commitment to consistent, varied engagement with the language daily. Leo's final advice to all aspiring learners was simple yet profound: commit to your English study plane for talking, embrace every opportunity to speak, and never underestimate the power of consistent daily reading. Your fluency awaits. He often concluded, remember, learn English is a marathon, not a sprint. Celebrate small victories, stay persistent, and trust the process. Your voice deserves to be heard. His story inspired millions to begin their own linguistic adventures.